I am Brandy Parris, and I work in the Center for Teaching and Learning with Ann Maxim, and I help run the writing program, and I coordinate the Academic Support Lab.
When you're writing something for publication or for a class that you know you're going to be doing, and whatever the genre, is there do you follow a similar type of process?
I think there is sort of a common thread with my process, which is that I stew for a really long time mentally, and I can't write until I'm actually ready to write. I'm not one of those people who can get up and write 5 minutes a day, you know. And I'm not a huge process writer. I do most of my processing in my head. I'm a very visual person, and so I do some kind of drawing and charting out of ideas and things like that. That's often been helpful for me. Sometimes when I've had very complicated stuff with a whole lot of different ideas and I'm not really sure how they go together, I'll just type everything up and then just sort of a list of bullet points or something, and try to categorize them. And if I can't still quite categorize them, I can go back and then I'll mark them with different colors and say, okay, these ideas seem similar, and then eventually I can sort of start to separate things out. I have a lot of techniques. So, for example, you know, I have my own indexes that I created to a lot of books that I've read. So you'll open it and maybe there'll be a normal index, or if it's fiction, there's no index, right? But then you go to the back page and there's this whole index of mine. You know, it'll be like abolition, you know, and then like the pages that it's on, you know, or anger and the pages that it's on. So those are some of the things that I was writing about. And that's one of my techniques for sort of organizing information, keeping track of stuff and being able to find things again. And then my note-taking is very careful and similar to that, and I have all these little symbols that I use for, you know, kind of organizing ideas and keeping my ideas separate from the authors I'm reading, and you know, that kind of thing.
So it sounds like for you, a lot of the work goes on before you even sit down and do the paper. It's the gathering of the information and the organizing of it and the making of the connections, and that all goes on before you even sit down to start to write a draft.
Oh yeah, yeah. For me, really, the drafting and the writing process is the very final thing, and it's the least of the work, really.
Did you always work that way?
I don't know. I think there have been times in my life when I've definitely always been interested in writing since I was pretty young, like say about 3rd grade, I started writing poetry. So I've done a lot of thinking and working with different ways of writing. And you know, you read things and people say, do that, you know, for example, get up and write every day. And I've tried that and it just doesn't work for me. So I've tried different things, and slowly over the years I've sort of realized what my process is. The thing I think that's really important is to just start thinking about it and engage with the idea that you do have a process and that there's not one right way to write. And my experience is that a lot of people sort of come up through their education thinking that you know, we learn a lot of rules. And so people think, well, writing is about the rules. And that's not the case. It's not true that that's what really is going on. I mean, there are rules there to give us some structure and to help us understand how language functions. But really, you know, it's about creating knowledge, and it's about exploring, and it's about understanding, and it's about expressing yourself, and you know, figuring out how that works best for you is the important thing. So, you know, I have different exercises that I do with students, but mainly I just engage in conversation with them about it and get people to start thinking about it as sort of a unique process that's very much their own thing. and to sort of explore like what's worked for you in the past, what doesn't work for you, instead of to be students, I think, sometimes get very caught up in this idea of the right way, and there isn't a right way. Sometimes there's more than one right way for you even. So just to explore what those things are and to just try to be open and try new things too.